Have you ever wanted to buy a car with an integrated PlayStation and an additional demo disc that allowed for a grind session and a bit of dragooning? Well, you are a freak, first of all, and you are also a quarter of a century too late. But you for sure can watch this YouTube video instead. When discussing demo discs, people usually talk about the ones that came with magazines, and that's a very brave task to take on. Then there of course are the ones which retailers handed out so that you would return later and buy the full versions of the games. A very simple example of that would be this piece of filth, the Best Buy Greatest Hits Volume 1. The first part of a one-part series which ran from 2002 to 2002. Fascinating stuff. It gave you an incredible selection of games, among other things allowing you to bash your crash, and again some good old-fashioned dragooning. Toys R Us did the same thing too, but those are honestly boring to talk about. I want to talk about the promotional ones which were given away during a variety of different retail situations, because that is where you will find the most random bullshit. If this was a video essay channel, I would spend the next 5 minutes explaining what a demo disc is, but sadly for us, this is just a slop channel. So I will just use one sentence. Basically, there was a time when companies would use these discs in order to promote their products. And from what I've heard, those were quite an important part of gaming back in the olden days, and it led to whatever the fuck we are looking at right now. I think I am quite familiar with American things as far as non-Americans go, but this exceeds my intercultural understanding. I am not sure which emotion this picture is meant to make you feel. I did a bit of research and it seems that Slim Jim is an Instagram meme page. At that point in time, however, he must have been a Walmart employee to my understanding. These discs used to be glued to packs of whatever this is. Apparently this product is also called Slim Jim. And if this isn't narcissistic enough, one of the games, Jet Moto 3, even includes a playable character that is directly sponsored by this individual. Fittingly, said character is called Convict. And to the surprise of absolutely nobody, all of these games were published by 989 Studios and seem to exclusively fall into the category of extreme sports games. We are looking at an alliance between two very powerful entities. Now, the Slim Jim one is understandable at the end of the day, right? As it simply is an incentive for you to buy more meat sticks, I guess. Now let me introduce you to the Ford Windstar 2001 Family Entertainment Upgrade Demo Disc. In 2001 it was possible to buy a Ford Windstar with an integrated PlayStation, and if you did so you would receive a copy of Gran Turismo 2 and a copy of the Ford Windstar 2001 Family Entertainment Upgrade Demo Disc, which, as mentioned earlier, includes some very interesting games. In case you wondered, no, the disc does not include a demo of Ford Racing, an actual game that also existed at that time. The game must have been pretty shite, considering that even its own titular company didn't want to have it installed in their cars. Also, let's ignore the fact that the PS2 was already released by this point. Must have been too dangerous to install on a Ford. And while editing this, I found a listing for this demo disc on eBay, which interestingly enough is more expensive than an actual Ford Windstar 2001. But back to consumable slop. Pepsi entered the game but had an absolute stinker. The disc they made comes with an incredible video intro, literally making me overflow from all of the second-hand low-poly nostalgia it's giving, and I already know where your mind is going. They must have put Pepsi Man in there. This would make a lot of sense. And well, you are right, it would make a lot of sense. That's why they decided not to do that. Instead, we got exactly one playable level of Jet Moto 2, 2 videos which are just trailers for other games, and 2 further videos which are just literal Pepsi TV commercials. This is the most disgusted I have ever been in my life. Literally stomach churning shit. Also, we should provide some context and note that this was not a demo to be handed out to random strangers to take home. Instead, it was designed to be played in actual in-store kiosks like that. Meaning that it was specifically engineered to provide you with just enough brain stimulation to keep you busy while your mom is handling her business at the Pepsi aisle at Walmart, which can be quite a dangerous endeavor from time to time. And for that specific purpose, we have to admit, well played, Pepsi Man, well played. Although they could have come up with something better to put in there than Jet Moto 2 out of all games, I believe I certainly would have felt ripped off by this free tryout kiosk. Give me my minute back. I also believe Pepsi Man would lose to Slim Jim in a fight, but that's just me. Was Pepsi the only soft drink to go hard disc? Well, I guess you could say that Coca-Cola dabbled in a bit of PC gaming at that time. They released a branded demo disc for a game called Heart of Darkness, which is an action-adventure game made by French people. 7-Up, on the other hand, made a full-on video game for the PS1, but that is a completely different topic. Unhealthy slop and gaming seem to go hand in hand. You already know it, McDonald's decided to stick its meat into it as well. Who else if not our old chap Ronald over here? They were not handed out together with Happy Meals, interestingly enough, they were handed out with the so-called Big Bag. No, this is not a drug joke, even though it's the UK we are talking about here. The actual game selection on the discs is moving, as in a bowel moving. Not good, mediocre at best. And it doesn't get much better when you consider these discs actually were released almost 2 years after the PS2 was released. In fact, GTA Vice City came out around the time where the sweepstakes on the discs ended. And it's not like a Stuart Little license game is very exciting to begin with, but with that, that's just getting depressing, man. And a bit off topic, but Ronald McDonald would for sure beat Pepsi Man and Slim Jim in a 2-on-1 fight. Now, when it comes to promotional demo discs, there is one that always needs to be mentioned. One which stood above all others. Take it away, funny Australia man.
Want to tell me why you were driving backwards, pal? I'm just bringing home some PizzaHut stuffed crust pizza. The pizza you eat backwards. I'm not in the wrong here, am I?
You're getting a warning.
I want my lawyer.
Just a warning.
Okay, he's here.
It's a mop.
It's my lawyer.
It's a mop.
It's the pizza-powered PlayStation giveaway. Right now, for $9.99, buy a large one-topping Pizza Hut stuffed crust pizza and get a PlayStation Demo-Disc with cool games like Crash Bandicoot, Warped, and more, and a chance to win $200,000.
I am his lawyer. What's your badge number? I know the mayor.
We could summarize these circumstances as the 2 biggest P's in the game have teamed up, PlayStation and the Hut, and the result were promotional demo discs which allowed you to get closer with a couple of PlayStation games. And when I say a couple, I am talking about the cream of the crop, from Solid Snakes to Final Fantasies and everything in between. I can't imagine how a stuffing could get any better. In fact, I am going to use these discs in order to figure out what I will play next on this channel. We might be eligible to win some money, but that is really not what we are here for. We are here for Crash Bandicoot Warped. I would love to say that I was looking forward to playing this game anyway, but that is not what that demo made me feel. The demo made me feel like a fish, and not in the good way. Luckily, you can get a way better Crash Warped demo experience by booting up Spyro the Dragon and pushing these buttons. Oh yeah, that is what being an Australian is meant to feel like. Medieval. This came out back when the word goth invoked a feeling of spooky instead of whatever it is doing to humans nowadays. You play as Sir Daniel Foreskin in a fairly modern feeling hack and slash type game. Feel free to insert an obligatory "this is just what your average day in Birmingham is like" joke. Metal Gear Solid. Now it gets mental. Embark on the most intense mission ever imagined. I always wanted to know what Kojima was up to before foot scanning was invented. I have never played this game before, but I am of course aware of how highly people speak of it. Although I have to say the way some people talk about the main character is to be considered rather freaky. Those were the things I had to say before playing the demo. I did it and now I get it. A car game. And Tomb Raider free. I have to be honest with you people, I don't really care about Tomb Raider all that much. I would love to get an official Lara Croft beach towel instead.
Don't you know that this stuff is filled with backwards messages?
Eat pizza, stuffed crust pizza backwards. Crash is the man. Worship Crash.
What?
Party at Crash is us.
Dude, don't you have locks in this house?
Crash is back at Pizza Hut. Now when you buy a large stuffed crust pizza for $9.99, you get one of 2 free PlayStation Demo-Discs with cool games and a chance to win $500,000.
Backwards talking am I now?
Stuffed crust, another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
The first disc seemingly did so well that a year later they decided to do a second campaign with 2 alternate discs, this time with some very simple games. Games that are good for the demo format, which only allows you to play short bits of the full experience. Like Final Fantasy VIII. I always knew that I would have to tackle this franchise at some point of my gamer life. I never knew that it was gonna be under these circumstances. Now, game number 8, being my introduction to the series, might raise some alarm bells, but from what I have heard, this is an anthology series, so the titles should stand on their own. I played a bit, and now I am standing on my own. A car game, but this time with mascot platformer. I really like this, but under no circumstances am I going to play too much of this, as I don't want to get potential spoilers for Crash Warped, which came out before this. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Yet again, one of the many series I have always heard about but never got the pleasure of getting into. Cool Borders 4 is very dangerous. It's meant to combine winter sports and physical violence. Now, the reason this one is dangerous is the fact that this is the 4th installment in a series, and from what I gathered, Cool Borders is not an anthology series. All the games take place in the same world with its established lore and characters, making it a very hard franchise to get into, in a very strong contrast to Final Fantasy. On top of that, it's a 989 Studios game. And then there's Ape Escape, which I actually have played quite a bit of already, thanks to the El Clasico on the El Cinco. I am very fond of this game, it might be one of the most charming games I have ever played.
Turn the pizza around! It's stuffed crust, you eat it backwards! Carry on!
In case you forgot, you're supposed to eat stuffed crust backwards. With a ring of cheese baked right into the crust, it's the most fun you can have with the pizza. Right now, a large one topping is only $9.99. Pizza Hut, the best pizzas under one roof.
Would you like to work here?
I'm not housebroken.
And next the disc. Sledstorm is an EA Sports game and I don't feel like dealing with any microtransactions right now. Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation is advertised as a playable demo, but in actuality the disc just includes a video. A trailer. A fairly long trailer. Personally, I don't mind it too much. I didn't feel like being disappointed today anyways, but you just know that some poor soul in the 90s was incredibly excited for experiencing the newest rendition of Lara Croft's Pyramids. They got their official beach towel out and everything, it can stand on its own, and then they were just incredibly disappointed. Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage. Barry the Dragon returns and goes on his next adventure. I don't know who Ripto is, but I can't wait for him to calm down. A car game. And the newest rendition of Tetris. I will not lie, there is an argument to be made that this is the weakest disc to come out of this collaboration. In the meantime, I also tried to use my early 2000s nostalgia buzzword low-poly dump phone in order to order an authentic stuffed crust Crash Bandicoot pizza. This was meant to be the B-plot of this video, but the AI assistant on the phone just said, "You the real stuffed crust," and ended the call. Sadly, my English is not good enough in order to understand that sentence. Now I know that in order to get the proper 90s gaming demo experience, it would be appropriate and necessary to play the demos and only the demos over and over again for at least a couple hundred times, or to acquire a time machine, but that would have been way too performative for my taste, I have to be honest there. I also don't have a time machine. So I instead decided to just learn about them and use them to learn, as part of my series Old Think Good ? In which I go out of my way to explore the eras of gaming that I never was a part of. A massive shout out to game-rave.com for making discussing this topic possible to somebody like me. I have never been to a rave before, but if I ever do, I wanted to feel like browsing that website. The next stop of our journey after this is going to be the games that we put on our list. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Bill's afraid to eat his stuffed crust backwards.
I'm not afraid.
Don't speak.
Don't be afraid. Stuffed crust pizza has a ring of cheese baked right into the crust, and a large one topping is $9.99.
Keep your chin up, Bill.
Stuffed crust, another one of the best pizzas under one roof.